So, question was, I believe I'm quoting fairly precisely, why not eat the carbs so you don't have to do the cardio? Okay, so why do the cardio? Okay, there's various reasons to do the cardio. One, zone 2 cardio is a great way to burn fat. Yeah, but that's just one element of it. It builds up your mitochondria, your energy producing aspect of the cell. But there's more to it than that. I'm not going to go into the the deep science of zone 2. What I'm going to say is there are two excellent indicators of fitness, health, longevity. Two markers which indicate that you are going to be a winner in the game of longevity, health span. If that's what you want, and that's what I want, yeah, if that's what you want, okay, these two markers are very important, and these two markers are both improved by cardio, and cardio is fueled by carbs. So, directly answering the question, why bother eating the carbs to do the cardio? It's because the cardio is the only means to a high VO2 max, which is the best indicator of longevity. So you're better off being a smoker with a high VO2 max than being a non-smoker with a low VO2 max. Yeah? Now, I know it might sound strange, but yeah, there are people who do hard cardio and smoke. God knows why. Suppose they can't kick the addiction. Yeah, they just can't kick the addiction. So I suppose second best is better than nothing at all. Okay. So, lower resting heart rate, another excellent indicator of your overall physical condition. And as I say, both driven by cardio. For a high VO2 max, you need to be doing hard cardio. Yeah? So, the zone 2 stuff is not enough. Zone 2 stuff gives you certain adaptations. Yeah? Zone 2 stuff, yeah, you could probably fuel it in the absence of carbs. You still feel like shit. And I've done it myself, I know all about this, yeah? You might look at my body and think, what's he got to show for all that, all that effort and all that training? Yeah? But you can't see what I've got to show for it because it's not visible. You can't flex in the mirror or on camera a low resting heart rate. Yeah, so I'm relatively small compared to T, I think. T's massive according to what he's saying. He's saying he's 255 pounds. But I'm saying to you, 255 pounds is not. It might not be the it might not be the be all end all. In fact, I'm going to say it might be the end all. Who knows? But yeah, that simple question. Why eat the carbs to have to do exercise to burn them off? It's because the exercise, and I completely agree with T's point here. The stimulus itself is a negative. It's like I don't know. It's like the grain of sand in the oyster. It's an irritant. The exercise is an irritant. The exercise is a threat to your body, to your well-being. But your body perceives a threat and adapts to the threat. So, if you push your muscles hard, yes, the body will perceive that as a threat. You haven't got the strength to deal with that requirement, and it will give you bigger, stronger muscles. Okay. To a certain extent, I would say that's a good thing. To a certain extent, not just because it's aesthetically pleasing, because you look good and you make the girls swoon. Yeah, that's not to the extent that it's a healthy adaptation. It's a good thing. So you need a certain level of muscularity. You need a certain bone density. Those are good things. Those will. How can I put it? Those will increase or improve your probabilities of a long health span. Yeah. So health span is a little bit different to a lifespan. Health span is the time in life that you're healthy. Okay. So you don't want to live to 100 and 30 years at the end in absolute misery and hospital appointments. Okay. So eat the carbs, do the cardio, get a low resting heart rate, get a high VO2 max, and other favourable adaptations that I'm too lazy to look up, but I'm sure that you can easily find it. Okay, so I'm not saying only do cardio. I believe that you need a certain level of muscularity and body size. I think I'm too muscular. T will probably chuckle at that. Where's the muscle? Where's the muscle? I think you're looking for a bodybuilder, T. I'm not a bodybuilder. Yeah. That's it. I'm too big already. I don't need any more size. I don't need any more muscle. It's doing me no good. It's a negative. Take it past a certain point, it becomes a negative. It's you're putting weight on your joints. You're putting weight on your heart. Your heart's got to work harder. The reason that I've got an excellent resting heart rate and only a good VO2 max, good's not bad. It's good. Yeah. But the reason it's only good is more than likely because of my high body weight. So I'm having to, I'm having to take in oxygen and use oxygen, and I simply, my body weight is preventing me from taking in and using oxygen. I think I'm not exactly sure about the science of it, but I think that what happens is that bigger muscles are much more difficult for the oxygen to reach. Yeah, whereas smaller muscles, they're much more exposed to the oxygen. Anyway, I'm not going to get a deep dive into the science, but I think it's something like that. But the long and short of it is that bigger muscles, all these wonderful myofibrillas and all the rest of it, they come with a price. You might think, oh, they look pretty, and that's it. Yeah, but if you get to the point where you've got another I don't know, another 50 pounds on your body because you're carrying so much muscle. You've got another 50, 60, 70 pounds on your body. I think more than likely T would look decent at 180, 190, 200. Yeah? He doesn't need to be 255. Okay? Doesn't need it. Just like I don't need what I've got. I could do with being under 80 kilos. That's what I'm aiming for, actually. Yeah, I'm aiming for under 80 kilos. So, you know, there is no way that I'm going to be carrying, you know, substantially more muscle than I've already got. More than likely I'm going to be carrying less. I've got a load of blubber to lose, so I can, you know, I can probably get away with it to a certain extent, just maintaining what I've got. But that's my thinking on that simple question. Why eat carbs? To fuel cardio. Because cardio is a path to a high VO2 max and a low resting heart rate, amongst other benefits. Okay, leave it at that. Yeah. Bye.